it decides to put it in people's news feeds. It's sort of as simple as that. And when you look at an Advantage Plus shopping campaign, reach becomes important because an Advantage Plus shopping campaign really is a funnel in and of itself. So reach becomes important because you want to see which ads in your campaign are kind of being pushed as your top of funnel content, the content that Meta wants to use to go and prospect. Hey, welcome to Aussie Online Growing on Shopify. This is episode 157, and I'm sharing my Meta Ads dashboard with you today in this episode for my own e-commerce store. So if you're watching on video, that's the best way to watch this episode because I'm going to have a little screenshot somewhere on screen for the entirety of this episode. If you're listening just on audio in the car or something, then listen in. I'm going to share some really groundbreaking statistics about how Meta is performing in January 2026. You may have noticed I did a bonus episode just a few days ago quickly about some results my clients are having with their Meta ad account for the start of 2026. But this really needs a whole episode, especially about Advantage Plus shopping. My bonus episode was about all of my clients I'm supporting, which is a mixture of Advantage Plus shopping and traditional detailed targeting. But this episode, because I'm sharing my own e-commerce store dashboard, I don't think I've ever shared this much data or detail on a podcast episode before. It feels a bit vulnerable. This is all about Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, or ASCs. And I've got a bit of a headline stat to share with you, which was the feature of my bonus episode as well, which is in the first part of January in a 7-day window from a few days ago. But when you're listening to this episode, it will have been a couple of weeks prior. My clients had cost per purchase results over a 7-day window of between $6 of a cost per purchase up to $37 cost per purchase, and a ROAS ranging from 2.1 to 6. And all of that is cold traffic. And Meta retargets, of course. Meta does its own retargeting. We can give it suggestions, but it only ever takes those things as suggestions. But for the campaigns I have set up and launched and optimized and watched and monitored, it has been targeting cold traffic. None of these results are from retargeted campaigns, and cost per purchase results of between $6 cost per purchase to $37 cost per purchase. And depending what your average order value is, you may be really thrilled with any number between those two, and potentially even higher if you have a high average order value as well. Then above $37 for a new customer is a great result as well. A new customer, a purchase on Meta. Some of those, of course, are existing customers. A lot of them are new. For my own e-commerce store, when I do a split between looking at how many of them coming through on Shopify are new versus returning, 50% of the results I'm having at the moment for January are new customers as well. So I'm really thrilled with how well my Advantage Plus shopping campaign has been performing so far as we get into January 2026. I have a couple of pages here of notes. I'm going to look through them and share some data with you that will correlate to the screenshot I'll have of my own ad account. So these are my ads, my actual ads that are active at the moment and running. And the window of time I looked at is 7 days. So these results here in this screenshot are over a 7-day period. And you'll notice in the dashboard, or I'll point out to you in the results I have here, that I have sorted by reach. So with my Advantage Plus shopping campaign, I've looked at a 7-day window and I have then sorted those results by reach. This is really important when you're looking at analyzing an Advantage Plus shopping campaign. You want to look at a couple of things first, and I like to look at reach and amount spent. I want to see what is getting the most reach and also how much money out of my daily budget is Meta spending on different ads inside the campaign. Reach is important because reach is now an important metric. If you haven't heard or if you didn't know, reach used to be a really junky metric. And in fact, agencies used to report for their clients on reach as a standard practice to show that they were doing something meaningful for a client in their ad campaign, which was a complete lie. It was honestly complete rubbish, which is why I think agencies get such a bad rap, understandably so. But through last year, and especially because of Meta's massive updates to the algorithm it did through last year in different stages, reach has now become a really important metric. Really important because it shows which of your ads Meta likes and wants to spend money on, and it's in putting in front of the most users on social media. The more the reach, the more Meta likes the ad and the more it decides to put it in people's news feeds. It's sort of as simple as that. And when you look at an Advantage Plus shopping campaign, reach becomes important because an Advantage Plus shopping campaign really is a funnel in and of itself. So reach becomes important because you want to see which ads in your campaign are kind of being pushed as your top of funnel content, the content that Meta wants to use to go and prospect and find new users and new eyeballs on your content. So the ads that have the highest reach when you sort your data by 7 days or 14 days, whatever sort of window of time where you haven't really touched the campaign much and it's been allowed to just chug along and collect data before you make changes, then sort by reach and see which of your ads Meta is pushing out to prospect. This becomes like the top of your funnel. Then if you look at your Advantage Plus shopping campaign as a funnel, you'll quickly see which ads become your top of funnel prospecting, awareness building, people finding your brand ads, and then you'll start to see the ads that are converting and getting the sales. Sometimes those things are the same. You'll see in my dashboard the ad that's got the most reach also has the most purchases. This is like a ideal scenario, but not common. So it's not as common as seeing an ad with a high reach but a really low purchase. But then other ads further down in your campaign may be getting more purchases, which start to look really good, like a cost per purchase of $10 or $7. The only reason that really great result happened was because someone saw that really high reach ad first, and then they started to convert off other ads. Remember, Meta is attributing your sales or the sales it's getting for you on the last click. So somebody has been like, you can just assume, and you can pretty well put money on it, that if I come and see your brand for the first time, I may see your top reach ad and I may not click on it though. Then I might see another ad in your campaign. I may or may not click on it. Then I might see another ad, which I may click on, but I may not do anything with it, or I may add to cart and then bounce. The ad that I click on and decide the final decision to make the purchase is the ad that gets the credit from Meta. But that ad wouldn't have converted me if I hadn't seen the other ads to begin with. And that's what's so powerful about Advantage Plus shopping, or ASC, is that it becomes a funnel in and of itself. So an ad with high reach, but if it's really high, like if it's costing you a lot of money to get a sale, I would argue still keep it there. Like, don't get rid of it. Don't discard it. Don't like assume it's not doing its job. Unless you have other ads that also have high reach and maybe a better result, you might want to consider turning off a high reach ad, but I would keep it turned on because that's what's finding all the people, all the users on Instagram and Facebook and Messenger and Marketplace to even know about you and come into this ASC funnel to begin with. So you wouldn't probably get good cost per purchase results in an ASC if you haven't got a high performing, high reach campaign. That's something to look at for yourself. If you're running Advantage Plus shopping, you need a large volume of creative, like lots of creative. In my campaign at the moment, I think I have turned on maybe 21 ads. I'm not 100% sure. I have to go and check. About 21 ads, but that's almost minimum now. Like, you really want to have as many ads as possible that all reflect different stages of the buyer journey turned on at the same time, because you're telling Meta to go find the users to convert, and you need that variety of creative so that Meta can serve different things to different users at different stages of the marketing funnel. It's simplified but more complex in other ways. So this is a different way of getting customers on Meta in 2026. It's the way Meta is going. This is, if you haven't run an ASC ever or haven't for a long time, it used to be called, I'm trying to remember. Before they changed the name to Advantage Plus Shopping, I've already forgotten. A year ago, I can't remember. It used to be Advantage Plus Sales. This is the old Advantage Plus Sales strategy or campaign structure, but it's got a new name and a new algorithm to back it up. I really encourage you to jump back into this and make it work for your own e-commerce brand this year, because you will find it the best path to scale. even with a small budget, I still think if you can manage the volume of creative, it'll be worth your while. If you can't manage the volume of creative that an ASC requires to perform, then I then go to run a traditional detailed targeting, because I don't think you won't find great results otherwise. You really do need the volume of creative to back up the performance and the algorithm and give Meta all of the pieces it needs to go and find these customers for you. Let me check my notes now and see what I wanted to share with you about this screenshot. Also, I want to tell you, I think I mentioned in the previous episode as well, if you look at an ASC based on daily results, don't make don't make any changes based on a daily result, because an ASC, in my experience, is what I found in my account here, but also my client's account too, particularly two of them with an ASC. I have seen this happen where Meta will prospect on one day and convert on another. So in other words, one day it will spend the budget and lots of add to carts, lots of click-through rates, but maybe minimal or one purchase or no purchases. Like, it looks terrible. But then the subsequent day or even 2 days later, it converts in a massive tidal wave, and you'll get oodles and oodles of revenue come through in one big hit from an ASC. This has been true for me, absolutely. So I have noticed a real pattern in the last couple of months happen where I've looked at it this week as well. For instance, on Monday this week, I saw my sessions were up 30%. Maybe it was Monday or Tuesday. Well, sessions were up 30%. I think it was Monday on the day before. And my ASC had spent pretty well the whole budget it had been given. Then but I had like two sales. So like two sales came through. And then the next day, my sessions were down significantly, but I had about 12 orders come through on the second day. So I've started to see this circular pattern with Meta where it spends my budget prospecting one day and reaching a lot of colder traffic, getting lots of people to the website, lots of sessions. My sessions are often up on this day. And then the day after or 2 days later, I see a bucket load of revenue come through that then evens out from the previous days where there was nothing. And my sessions are less because now it's warmer traffic, more qualified traffic coming through and deciding to purchase. That's becoming the norm in ASCs. And if you listen to other podcasters, which I'm sure you do, I do as well, especially agencies in the US who are talking about ASCs a lot, particularly perpetual traffic, that would be one of my favorite podcasts. I encourage you to jump on perpetual traffic if you're interested in the nitty gritty of Meta and ad campaign builds. They have said the same as well. I think they're the first ones that mentioned that made me think that's something I might want to look for. And I have definitely seen that play out in my own ad campaign. When I look at this dashboard as well, I can see the frequency. The frequency on my top performing ad is it's not high, but it could do with being a bit lower. I'm just going to keep an eye on it though. It's not out of control by any means, but it is a number that I want to just make sure I keep my eye on, that frequency on that one particular ad, which I think has got a frequency of just over 2 at the moment. Let me check the screenshot, make sure that's correct. Yeah, 2.16, that ad with 20 purchases. That's an okay frequency because it's an ASC, it's prospecting and converting. So some people will see it 2 times when they're closer to the bottom of the funnel to sort of get them over the line for that purchase decision. But I just want to watch it. I don't want it to get too high. I'll let it get as high as it wants to if performance holds, but I just want to keep an eye on it. Also, I want to note that an ASC can even work if you are spending a small budget per day. It's going to need a longer time frame for that funnel to kind of fill up, which is why looking at how much the ads have spent, or looking at each ad and how much that particular ad has spent, is also really important, as well as looking at the reach. Because if you check out your own ASC, maybe you've got lots of ads in it, which is perfect. Good work. That's fantastic. But maybe you're spending like $30 a day on it, and you check it after, 2 days, and you can see the ad that's got the most reach, but there's nothing on it yet. No one's clicked on it. No one's added to cart, and you're wondering where the purchases are. But if the ad itself, even though it's got the best reach and it's your sort of top performing from the ones you have live, if it's only spent $13 so far because you're only spending a small amount per day. That's why looking at how much it has spent is important, because it just needs a longer period of time. You don't need to up the budget if you don't want to, but you do just need to wait. You need to wait it out until Meta has enough data kind of in that funnel that it is sorting to get conversions through. And when you start an ASC for the first time as a brand new campaign, you may find your ads start to swap places in the first few days. When I looked at my funnel, like in one 7-day window prior, then a different ad appeared at the top. But then as it got more data and started spending more money, it's now swapping around, and one ad is kind of starting to push out further and further, kind of ahead of the pack, and the other ads are starting to fall in line behind it. But that kind of top spot, or the ad that competes for the top spot, you may find swap around. That's why it's important not to make any changes based on one day's results inside an ASC. You really do need to look at a 5-day or a 7-day window before you make any changes, whether you decide to increase a budget, decrease a budget, if you want to turn an ad off, or if you want to add more ads in. The options, of course, are endless. Please reach out to me if you want me to check this out in your own account and do some work for your Shopify store. Let's get an ASC set up and built and running for you, especially if you have a bank of content. If you have been online publishing on socials regularly for a year or 2 years and you have heaps of historical content, like pull it out and put it in an ASC. It's not wasted. None of that older content is wasted because it can be repurposed for an ASC. And let's see how well it can start finding users and finding new customers for you and getting your brand out there. The other thing I will touch on again, because I think it's really important to say, which I mentioned before, is my $6.06 cost per purchase wouldn't have happened except that the other ads got lots of spend and lots of eyes on them and click-throughs and add to carts before this $6.06 cost per purchase came through. The person who clicked on this ad and decided to purchase and complete the checkout from this ad wouldn't have done that except that that user saw the other ads prior in that funnel, in the more top of funnel, before deciding to make a decision to purchase, which is why looking at the cost per result on a campaign level is really important with an ASC. With detailed targeting, you don't want to be looking at a cost per purchase result at a campaign level. Usually you really want to dig right into the ad level. But with an ASC, you can look at the cost per result at a campaign level and make some decisions off that and then click in to see more. But that is kind of the most important data point, is the campaign level. How much did it cost you as a business owner for Meta to go find you a new customer, or a warm lead who's a new customer, or a retargeted returning customer who's come back again? How much did Meta charge you to get that order through, pretty much, from the ASC? And then when you go look inside the ASC, you can see all this other interesting data that we've got here. But to make the decision on whether the ASC is performing well for you or not, you really want to make that decision at the campaign level, in my opinion, for an ASC. You don't want to get too nitty gritty, because then you start freaking out that one of your ads has cost you $150 to get a purchase through. But maybe it's the best reach in your whole campaign, and it's finding everybody on social media to even learn about your brand for the first time. And if you get rid of that ad, you pretty well like break the funnel, and then none of the other ads take their place and the whole thing stops working. So looking at the ad level is important. That's the screenshot I have here. But I think looking at the campaign level will really serve you best in deciding whether the ad account or that campaign as a whole is performing for you as you need it to for your business. The other thing I'll share with you from this screenshot is there's an ad here that spent $41.79 that has 0 purchases. That's quite a high amount based on my average order value, because my average order value is only about $60. So it's pretty low. So to have an ad spend $41.79 with no purchase is starting to look a bit iffy to me. So I will keep an eye on that particular ad. I may need to swap it out for something else. That ad is performing a function in the marketing funnel. I need to decide what part of the funnel that ad is speaking to. Like, what consumer on Facebook and Instagram is that ad speaking to? Is it someone who's found my brand for the first time, someone who's slightly aware of who I am, someone who's got a problem, someone who's looking for something cute and fun and new, someone who knows who I am and has already shopped and is coming back the second time. Like that particular ad, sort of what part of the funnel is it kind of supporting? And then I might want to swap that out for something new, a new ad that kind of supports a similar part of the funnel. This is where putting ads in and out of an ASC become important over time as you optimize it. You want to watch the different parts of the marketing funnel and see maybe which parts are starting to not pull their weight anymore, and swap out those particular ads so that you can continue supporting the whole campaign and the algorithm to keep spending and using all of that data that it's learnt since you launched the campaign. So that particular ad that spent $41.79 with no purchases yet, I'm just going to watch it. I may not do anything about it. I may do something about it, but it has really great secondary metrics or soft metrics. In other words, it has the best click-through rate. You can see the click-through rate on it is really great. Yeah, the click-through rate is 5.8. So that's the best click-through rate of any of the other ads. And it also has lots of add to carts, like 12 add to carts, and the cost per add to cart is $3.48, which is also not bad. For the fact that it has the best click-through rate, then I'm not going to do anything about it just yet. It's just something I wanted to point out, and it's worth noting, and something just to keep an eye on. That's what I would sort of strategize and deduce from this particular screenshot. If this was not my own ad campaign, I was looking at a client's, I would make that determination that ad there has spent a bit with no purchase yet, but it has amazing click-through rate, so it's getting a lot of traffic to the website. So I'm going to let it sit there for a little bit and just keep an eye on it, and maybe swap it out. If it starts to spend more and more and more and still doesn't get a purchase through, I will consider swapping it out for a different ad that kind of supports the same stage of the marketing funnel as this one is. So to sum up the episode, I really want to I want you to take home from this episode that this particular campaign is performing well. My average order value, the revenue that's coming through Shopify that's not accounted for here, but Meta is probably contributing to my Klaviyo dashboard revenue as well. People coming to the website, signing up to my pop-up, and then they're converting from a flow. That also gets kudos to Meta for some of that as well, because the person came to the website from Meta and then they signed up to my pop-up and then they jumped in my flow. So the revenue has gone to Klaviyo, but Meta has played a part in that too. This campaign is performing really well for me. In fact, it's probably the best performing campaign I've had in several months, because I've really decided that I've got to go with where Meta is leaning, which is the new algorithm and the AI-powered Advantage Plus shopping campaign. When I look at my cost per purchase at the campaign level, it's less than $21. So at the moment, Meta is getting me an order and a customer. 50% of them are new customers for less than $21, which is the best result I've had on Meta in a really long time. So let me tell you what it is as a snapshot or as an overview to take home with you today, what it is about this campaign that's performing so well. It's performing so well because primarily it has a variety of creatives inside it that all speak to different stages of the marketing funnel. That is the biggest reason why it's performing well. The creatives are good, they're varied, and they all speak to different stages of like a buyer journey, or a common sense buyer journey of discovering a brand and then liking, trusting a brand over time. That's the single biggest reason why this campaign is performing well. The second reason is the daily budget is high enough that it gives the campaign some backing, like a bit of oomph. It gives it some fuel to power this campaign to go and collect all this data and find these customers. So the daily budget is high enough that it is doing that. I have scaled it since I took this screenshot. So as I'm recording this episode, I have been scaling up this campaign gradually. So it's continuing to perform, and I'm continuing to lean into it as it performs well. And I'm continuing to turn on more creative. I think I said at the top of this episode there was 21 ads live in here, but that's actually not correct now I'm thinking about it. As I'm recording this episode, there's 21 ads live, but I think at the time of this episode, there might have been about 17 ads live. So I'm continuing to scale the daily budget and also at the same time turn on more ads to make sure this funnel becomes more robust and has more variety in it. That's the second reason why it's performing well. But the primary reason is the fact that it has good creative in it and a variety of creative that speaks to different stages of the marketing funnel, and a mixture of video and images. You might be able to see based on the names I've given them that there are a mixture of video and a mixture of images inside here. And when I say good creative, it's been proved to be good. If you look at my top performing ad, it's proved to be a good ad. It's got great cost per purchase results at $13.87, which is insane. And looking at the customers who have bought that particular product, most of them are new. So Meta is finding people way outside my niche, I'm sure of it, and converting them from this ad. That means it's a great ad. So this campaign is full of good performing creative and some old creative that didn't do so well in different campaigns that I have decided to put inside here because it speaks to different stages of the marketing funnel. It also showcases different types of products that I offer as well. And I've also added like a meme in here. Like I've done variety of creative. That is the single reason why this is performing so well. That is a single reason why my clients' accounts are performing well as well when it's an ASC, is the variety of creative. That is the reason that it will perform well. Like that is the North Star of how to win with Meta in January 2026, based off of my results, my clients' results, other if you listen to other e-commerce podcasts as well, I'm sure you hear a similar story, and based off of what Meta suggests as well and what best practices Meta is pushing all of us towards as advertisers. So that's what I want to share with you today. I'm looking at the screenshot. I'm okay with it being up there. Everybody's seeing all of it. It's nothing secret in there. It just feels a bit private to share the ads that I've currently got running live in my own ad account. But I hope you find it valuable. I hope you take some inspiration away from this episode and reach out to me if you want some support for your own ad account in 2026. You want to get some new customers and find them profitably. Meta is 100% the place you want to be. Thanks for hanging out with me today. As always, keep learning. What's the very next step in your marketing journey in growing your e-commerce store and finding new customers and converting them profitably? I encourage you to reach out to me for some one-on-one support. If you found your ads haven't worked in the past, top reasons I have seen with my own clients in why their ads stop working is a lack of creative diversity in the account, of exclusions and proper targeting, really helping Meta push to prospective users. And then ads that start to fatigue and circle the drain, that's when you find your costs start to skyrocket and you wonder what is going wrong in your account. When you run ads, your email marketing does better. When you do email marketing, it supports the money you are spending in advertising on Meta by ensuring that customers come back again and again, offsetting the cost you paid to Meta to get that customer for the first time. So there's no like crazy long retainer you have to sign up with me for. We can just work together for 1 month, and then you can decide if you want to continue working further or take back the reins and continue to DIY your marketing solution. And why reach out to me for support? Well, for my own e-commerce store, yes, I'm still running my own e-commerce store. And in 2025, my revenue is up 100%. I've doubled my revenue so far based off of 2024. The email marketing revenue I've had this year so far is 80% higher than it was for 2024. So I'm in a perfect position to support you in growing in your next steps. And let's really build out a robust, healthy campaign strategy that's going to see you succeeding long term. I encourage you to reach out to me. You can book a discovery call straight in my calendar. We can chat for 20 minutes about your business and the immediate next step you need to succeed in Meta ads or in your email marketing. You can find me at Aussie Online Growing on Shopify.com.au. You can reach out to me just by booking a discovery call straight in my calendar. Let's chat for 20 minutes on Zoom and see how I can support you in winning to find new customers to grow your e-commerce store here in Australia next.